So it has been 13 months since I had any social media. I got rid of it. I completely deleted all the apps, and I wanted to do a video today to give you an update on my experience with this. I did one like this about a month ago for the year mark, and now this is the 13-month mark. And for anyone new, I have been going on about getting rid of social media for ages now on this channel, and I just wanted to give you an update video to talk about the benefits and the drawbacks to deleting social media, some of the more recent things I've experienced in regards to not having social media. Yeah, I'll just get straight into it. Hopefully this video can give you some value, a bit of an insight into what it's like to just live life without any social media, especially as a young person, right? A young dude, I'm 23, and not having social media at my age is quite a rare thing. But I do think it's becoming more popular. More and more people are starting to understand or starting to want to delete social media. So hopefully if you're one of them people, this video can be valuable to you in some way. So I'm going to start off going through the cons of not having social media as a young person. So the first major con is it's more difficult to keep in touch with your friends, right? Now, there's ways around it. What I did when I first deleted social media is I actually met up with my friends, like the lads, right? Like your typical friendship group. I met up with them in person and I told them that I didn't have social media anymore. And that day we set up a WhatsApp group so that I could like communicate with them. So like, you know, you have the lads group chat or the girls group chat, whatever it is, on like Snapchat or something, or Instagram. That's where you talk to everyone. That's where you joke. That's where you organize the nights out. That's where you organize holidays. Everything is done on like social media. So I basically said, I'm going to set up a WhatsApp group, and we just did it all in there. But it is still kind of difficult to communicate with them because a lot of your friends will just continue to use their lads group chat on like Snapchat or whatever it is. And that means that sometimes it can be harder to communicate with people, because I've noticed that one of the major cons of not having social media is even if I message people through the WhatsApp group chat, like the lads group chat, a lot of times people just won't reply because people, like a lot of guys my age, just don't use WhatsApp or aren't used to using WhatsApp. So that's the main drawback. And the way around this I've experienced is to just call people or text the lads individually. Like if you want to organize a birthday or something where you're going to get your boys out for some drinks and some food or whatever, just ring them all individually. Chances are you're only going to have like 3, 4, 5 boys that you can ring anyway. If you have a huge friendship group of like 20 people in it, then the second thing you can do is just ask one of the friends who's still using the group chat on Snapchat to ask on your behalf, because you don't want to be reinstalling social media and have all the negatives that come with that, just because you want to communicate for one event, if that makes sense. So that's one way around it, or 2 ways around that. That's the main issue I've experienced. Another con is basically fear of missing out. This is called FOMO. And it's basically like, again, it goes back to the communication side of things. Like a lot of things get organized in the Snapchat group chat between like my circle of friends, like my lads, when people are going to go out for drinks, when people are going to meet up to do something, right? And I'm usually the last one who's asked to go on them things. Like either one of the friends in there just messages me directly, or someone remembers to put it in the WhatsApp group, or someone like calls me and says, oh, by the way, we're doing this thing, like, do you want to come down? That kind of thing. But if no one does that, I am just unaware that people are going out, which is fine. I'm not one to be like jealous of that kind of stuff anyway. I know some people are, but it is a problem. Like it's just something you need to be aware of. Like if you have a big friendship group and they're all using social media currently, and you stop using social media and go onto WhatsApp or something, then you can expect those guys to meet up and essentially forget that they haven't invited you. Because if someone puts a message in the group chat and then some people turn up and some people don't to whatever it is that they've planned, it's not really their fault that they haven't asked you, because they might have just forgot you're not in the group chat anymore. So they might have thought, oh, well, he knows about it, but he's not turned up. But in actual fact, you don't know that that thing was happening. So that's just something to bear in mind. And it kind of reinforces the idea that you should actually go out and meet up with your friends in person to tell them that you are deleting social media. So why do you need to tell your friends in person? Like, why is that such a big deal? Well, from what I've found, if you just text people that you've deleted social media, they're probably not going to care or even remember. Whereas if you actually meet up with people in person, it creates like a moment. It's a bit more memorable, and it's not like it's a huge deal for them. Like your friends aren't actually going to care that you don't have social media anymore. But if you tell them in person, it makes it way more like solidified, and those people can keep you accountable. So if you actually go and download social media again, they can like pull you up on it and be like, why have you downloaded social media? You literally met up with me to tell me that you don't have social media anymore. So it keeps you accountable. And because it creates like more of a moment, like a memory, it's way more likely people are going to remember that you don't have social media and therefore contact you through WhatsApp, text, or just ring you, right? So that's like the main two drawbacks I'd say from not having social media. And the third is kind of not as bad, but I found that sometimes I can just be a bit bored. And the reality, I've talked about this a lot, but the reality of it is, being bored is a good thing, right? Being bored is a skill. Like, people can't be bored these days, especially guys my age. Like, people in Gen Z, right? They cannot be bored. They have to be constantly occupied, whether it's through TikTok or Instagram or playing video games or watching YouTube shorts. Like, you constantly have to have your mind occupied, and the ability for you to be quite bored and to just kind of be in silence and almost meditate on your own thoughts and just be with yourself, not necessarily doing anything, is a skill. And that's going to increase your ability to focus and to get rid of all the brain fog and the thoughts that are clouding your judgment and everything. Just the ability just to be bored in general is a good thing. It's going to make your attention span better, but it's also a negative thing because being bored isn't necessarily fun. Like, it's a good skill to train, but it's not necessarily fun being bored. So that's the third kind of negative that I've found from not having social media these past 13 months. Now, I'm going to get on to the positives, right? And I'll be honest, there's a lot more positives than negatives. I'm definitely not reinstalling social media anytime soon. I just wanted to get the negatives of not having social media out the way with at the start, because when I tell you the positives, you're going to have heard them. You're probably going to know what they are. I'm going to tell you them anyway, because it might be a bit of inspiration for you to go and delete social media yourself, or at least spend less time on it. But I wanted to get the cons out of the way first, because those are like the real things that will actually impact your life in a negative way. And I feel like that's good to get out of the way with first. So let's go on to the positives of not having social media over these last 13 months. Well, the main positive is I'm just happier than I've ever been before, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that, but not having social media has made me genuinely happier than I was when I was with social media. And that is probably the most important aspect of not having it, because I know a lot of people like in my friendship group personally who are thinking the same thing. When I've had this conversation with them, they're always saying like, I might just delete social media, or they're going, oh, fuck it, I might just get rid of it now, like it's getting too much. And I'm always thinking back to like when I had it, and because it's so long ago that I had it, I can vaguely remember what it's like to sort of be addicted to social media. But like, to the people around me who are currently addicted, like, I do see that they actually want to get rid of it. Like, they're not happy. Like, a lot of the people I know just aren't happy. And I think one of the reasons being, there's obviously lots of reasons, but I think one of the reasons is that they just spend way too much time just scrolling through social media. And like, what does that lead to? Like, if you spend so much time scrolling through social media, watching endless amount of content, that's like brain rot content, right? Like the shorts and the reels and stuff, right? TikTok. You kind of start to feel like a bit of a loser. And I've talked about this before, but like when I had social media and I was sat there just scrolling for like 30 minutes or like 2 hours, I would literally start to feel like a loser. Like, I'm wasting so much time here. I've got so much more potential than this. And I'm just this guy who's like 22, sat in my parents' house in my room, just like scrolling through social media. You start to feel like a bit of a waste of space. And I feel like that's why a lot of people are genuinely just unhappy or feel like they're not accomplishing what they're capable of because they're wasting so much time on social media. So now that I don't have that burden on me anymore because I don't have any of the apps, I feel a lot better. I feel happier, right? Because I'm working on this channel. I've replaced social media with working on other things like my course, like this channel, my community. I'm doing some freelance work for like digital marketing and stuff like this, like all kinds of different things. And it just makes me feel happier that I'm being a more productive person and working towards the goals that I've set myself. So another benefit is I don't get like as much brain fog anymore. So when you scroll through social media constantly, there is something like a phenomenon that happens called context switching. And this is where when you see one video, your brain has to essentially analyze the person in the video, the background, like where are they, who are they, what are they talking about, what's the color, like everything, right? It has to analyze all that in like a split second, and that takes up a lot of brain power. But then when you within 2-3 seconds, just scroll to the next video and then the next one, your brain has to keep restarting that process over and over again, figuring out the context of each individual video that you're watching. This takes up a ton of brain power, and it literally gives you like brain fog. You know, that feeling of like you just can't concentrate, you can't bring yourself to do a task, or you can't concentrate at work or on like schoolwork or whatever it is. You just have brain fog, and your brain just keeps going back to wanting to pick up your phone and go on social media. That is one of the main benefits that I have from not having social media, is when I pick up my phone, there's nothing on it, right? I look down to find my phone there, but I'm fucking recording on it. Like, there's nothing on it, right? Other than the YouTube app. Like, I can watch some YouTube videos if I want, right? Like, there's nothing on it to like mindlessly scroll through. So that's such a great benefit, because running this YouTube channel, I'm trying to build up this like personal brand of mine on YouTube and on my community. That is like quite a time intensive job. It's quite a brain power intensive job. I guess it doesn't take too much time, but it takes a lot of brain energy. And back when I used to use social media, and I did have social media when I first started this channel, you can see like the consistency of the uploads of videos was terrible. Like, it was one video every 2 weeks, and then I got like a month without uploading, and then I'd upload another video. And this was all while using social media. And then as soon as I got rid of social media, my channel grew. I started posting content more regularly, and I just did better, right? Because I didn't have that brain fog. Another benefit is my dopamine levels have like finally returned to a normal human's dopamine levels. Like, when you are addicted to social media, and like when I was addicted to social media, I would find myself like watching stuff on social media, like reels and like meme accounts and stuff like that, and just being like bored, even though I was constantly occupying my brain with entertainment and content. I was still bored, but not in a good way kind of bored, like just genuinely feeling shit. And that was because my dopamine receptors were just fried. Like, I was playing video games, I was on social media, and I was just constantly spiking my brain with dopamine. And now that I don't have that anymore, I have normal levels of dopamine output. Like, I can happily sit here and like have this like the camera open, for example, and just think about like what I should do next, like video or course or something. Like, what video should I make next? I can sit here and like write that out, or just sit and think, and like not necessarily be bored doing that. And a lot of people don't have the attention span for that, because their dopamine receptors are just so fried, they don't find enjoyment in things. Like, I know people my age who can't watch a film. Like, they can't watch what is it, Dune? Dune's like one of my favorite films. Dune Part 2, if you've not seen that, that's amazing. With the Timothée Chalamet film, great film. And I love that whole universe and everything. And I know guys who are so addicted to TikTok that they can't like finish the first half hour of Dune, because they're like, oh, I don't know what it's about. I don't get it. It's boring. I'm like, it's one of the best things ever. Like, fair play if you don't like it, but it's not boring. Like, and people who say stuff like that's boring, I genuinely think their attention span is just fucked from like being so used to just getting instant like payoff, right? Like, on a video, like a social media, there'll be like a video and there's like, you know, a bit of a setup and then like a payoff, and it's all done within like 15 seconds, right? Or 30 seconds. And like a film, the build up might be an hour, and then the payoff might be in an hour and a half or something, right? Like, you have to wait quite a bit of time for the payoff. And I think guys just aren't used to that. Like, people my age are not used to that. And that's a really bad thing, because their dopamine's fucked. So it's like crack, right? They need to have it. Whereas it's like, when you take a step back, you delete social media, you stop using it, yes, you're going to be like kind of itchy and bored for a few weeks and kind of like, what the fuck do I do? But eventually it's going to stabilize, and you're going to start releasing a healthy level of dopamine again. Your dopamine levels, that baseline, is steadily going to increase, and you'll feel better again. Like, things like going for a walk, or like right now it's sunny. I live in the UK, it never gets sunny here. We had a terrible summer. But today it's really sunny, and like after I've recorded a few videos, I'm gonna go for a walk in the sun. And like, I'm genuinely looking forward to that. Like, you might not believe it, but I'm like excited to kind of stop recording this video so I can go for a walk. Like, all I wanna do is just get in the sun and just go for a bit, like a stroll around my local town, right? Like, most guys would find that boring as fuck. Like, they wouldn't wanna do it. But I can do that with like no headphones, no music, and just go for a walk and like actually look forward to it and enjoy it. That's like a great part of my day that I really enjoy doing. I do it every day. I go for a walk. And like, there's guys who won't be able to do that because that's not fun enough. And that's kind of sad, right? It's kind of sad that you watching this might be one of them people who can't go for a walk that lasts more than 30 minutes or an hour because you need to be on your phone. Or maybe you go for a walk and you're kind of on Instagram at the same time. Like, that's kind of sad, right? You might not think it that way, but from the perspective, remember, I'm someone who, I haven't had social media for 13 months. I think it's pretty sad that some people can't sit through a film, or that they can't go on a walk and enjoy it, or they can't go to the gym and just enjoy the workout without having to, like, in between sets, you know, just open up Instagram and watch a few reels. Like, I think that's pretty sad. And the last major benefit is I'm not getting exposed to other people's thoughts and opinions, like bullshit, especially political, like viewpoints and stuff being injected into my eyeballs and ears through social media. It can't do anyone any good just being exposed to other people's opinions all the time. And I guess the stuff I'm talking about right now is my opinion, but it's coming from a frame of trying to help you and like give you knowledge from my own personal experience. I'm not telling you that you need to think a certain way at all, and I never would. And it's like a lot of the stuff that you see on Instagram and TikTok is like pushing an agenda or pushing some kind of ideology. And especially through influencers and celebrities, they always push ideologies and certain mindsets to people. And I don't think it's necessary to be exposed to that. Like, you can think whatever you want to think, mate, but don't let your opinions be swayed too much by people on social media. And the best way to avoid that is to just not have social media, right? So when you don't have it, you're just not exposed to that kind of stuff. And for other things from influencers as well, you're not exposed to like certain body types. And like, I used to be obsessed with a guy called Mike Thurston. He's this big bodybuilder, big influencer. He's like got an amazing physique, but it's basically unachievable and you need to be on steroids to get it. So when I was looking at his videos all the time, every day a video of his would pop up on just like how rich he is and how jacked he is and everything. It would make me feel like, God, I've got a long way to go, right? Like once where you currently are and the target you want to get to, if that target is so far away, you can start to feel a bit demoralized because it's so far away. Whereas when you can kind of lower your expectations and your actual goals and kind of move the goalposts a bit back and separate your long-term goal into like multiple smaller sub-goals, it starts to become a lot more attainable and you start to become a lot more motivated that you can actually do it and achieve those goals. But when you get constantly bombarded with people who have already reached the peak of the peak, like in terms of wealth or their fitness or whatever it is, then you can start to feel a little bit demoralized yourself because you're so far away from where they are. And it can't do you any good to be constantly shown that kind of thing. Like maybe every now and then, if you're shown, someone who's right where you want to be, every now and then it could be motivational. But every day being bombarded with that, I can imagine it sort of makes you feel a bit like, shit, I'm not getting any closer, right? Every day I'm seeing this person and where they are, and then you look at where you are and you're nowhere near that level. And every day getting a reminder of that, I don't miss that at all. So yeah, overall, I've not had social media for 13 months now, and it's been the best decision I've ever made, I think. One of the best decisions I've ever made, right? Never gonna install social media again. And yeah, I'm just happy that I don't have it. And hopefully this video could have just given you a bit of insight into what it's like to not have social media for that amount of time. And I don't miss it. And I think if you were to delete social media and not have it for even like 3 months, you probably wouldn't miss it. And you would probably look back when you had it and think, why did I have it, right? That's kind of the level I'm at now. I'm like, I never even think of downloading it again. I'm just so happy I don't have it, because you've got to remember as well, I had social media for most of my teenage years and young adult life. It's only the last 13 months that I've not had any social media. Just before anyone comments it as well, YouTube being a social media, I get that. It is a social media and I do have YouTube and I also upload on YouTube, but there's a key difference. The videos that I watch on YouTube are long form. And I think watching a long form video that's like 10 to half an hour or an hour long, that's more educational. That's very different from the stuff I'm talking about, right? Because it's still social media, but what I'm talking about is short form, images, quick reels, TikTok, the kind of quick, fast dopamine, kind of shit posty content, right? That kind of stuff is what you need to avoid. If you're using YouTube as a way of watching educational content, then I think that's completely different, to be honest. And that's a topic for a different video. And I think that's positive if you are using YouTube for that kind of purpose. But what I'm talking about is Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, that sort of thing. And if you made it this far into the video, then first of all, thank you for watching, and you obviously kind of like this kind of content. I've made a course. It's completely free. It's over on Skool. It's the top link in the description. You can go join that community, go to the classroom section, watch that course. The course is on social media. If you want to keep social media for your business or whatever, I've got a section in there that's going to help you with how to spend less time on it and how to avoid certain traps that you can fall into. And then I've got a second section, which is like after you've deleted social media, okay, what is the actual benefits of that? How can you stay off social media? How can you stay in touch with people? That sort of thing. It's about an hour long, won't take you too long to finish, just about 10 videos, I think it is. So go and check that out. It's completely free. All right, bro, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, hopefully you found this video helpful, informative in some way. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.